to talk about, obviously, I'm sure we're all Tom Izzo guys.
Picture. Love that picture.
For open transparency here, my license plate is literally TM Izzo. So I don't know if this is the most objective show that you'll ever hear on Tom Izzo. But look, I want to talk about Tom Izzo's timeline. And let's just look at it comparatively. Tom Izzo is going to turn 67 years old in the middle of next season. And 67, you can go past it. Roy Williams, though, just retired at age 70. Judd Heathcote, Izzo's mentor, retired at age 68. Bo Ryan, a longtime nemesis at Wisconsin, retired at age 68. Coach K, by the time he's done, will be 75. He's a little bit on the older end of that spectrum. I know Izzo is on record as saying he doesn't want to go anywhere near 80. That was a quote from like 10, 15 years ago. He's like, no, I'm not going to go near 80. So I don't think he's going to be there 10 more years. Where do you land on this? Is the end near? Are we looking at the twilight? Is this last year, second to last year? We'll start with you, Matt. What do you think? How much more Izzo are we in for?
No, so I never made this on the record. Many years ago, I had the thought that, okay, he's going to retire when his kid goes through the program, which that sounds smart on the surface. However, I also tie that in with, and Imani Bates comes, one and done, which would have been the same year.
So that blanket already came undone.
We've got two things going wrong here, is that Steven Izzo can be here for 3 more years with the free COVID year, and I don't know if you guys caught the wind about Imani Bates.
Is he not?
He's not. I'm glad you're sitting down, Connor. He's not coming, so yeah, I'm sorry, bud. I think it is near. I think it's 2 to 3 years away. And listen, I clown and troll Coach K for using name, image, likeness in the transfer portal for being a reason to step down.
You mean it?
But honestly, I can see it. Like I speak from a guy who doesn't like change myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine doing something for 2 decades or like Coach K 8 decades like he did, right? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the transfer portal is buzzing. There's 1,000 names in it every year. NIL, it's almost like the transfer portal. It's not like there's a slow, gradual build-up. And it's like, okay, you can learn along the way here. It happens. NIL, when whoever I'm not a political guy, whoever signs the signature, senator, president, who the hell knows? Whenever that gets signed, it just starts. It's open season. It's the OK Corral out there. And that kind of is what happened with the transfer portal. It was a slower build-up, I guess, but man, very steep climb.
Yeah.
So, as an old guy, like, I get it. Oh, as a young guy, I think I'd be bothered by that. So I could totally see how, you know what? I'm 60 whatever years old. I don't want to learn how to deal with NIL. I don't want to be swimming in the transfer portal trying to recruit my own players that are on my team right now.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, behind the curtain, I will clown Coach K and I will continue to do so. But I gotta be real too. This will shock you. Me, yeah, I know.
Well, you got a little frisky on Twitter about this.
I get
Coach
frisky.
K thing. We actually pulled that. I laughed. So our audience knows. Yeah, you said you were a little fired up. So let's have Ben throw that one up there.
Sure.
Because you make me laugh a lot.
Show the receipts, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, we could have pulled any number. You had a couple.
Oh, no.
So Jeff Goodman talks about this. So
Let's talk about this.
This was yesterday. Jeff Goodman says this is about Coach K. He's obviously nearing the end of his career.
Yeah, sure.
But name, image, and likeness coming into college basketball and the transfer portal being out of control definitely sped up his timeline. This is a source close to Coach K, according to Jeff Goodman. And your response with the quote tweet was, right, because his roster's loaded with constant top 5 classes can't possibly match up with everyone using transfers.
The millisecond everyone else gets to use their advantage, like, oh, I'm out. Like, he used like how's the hair looking, by the way? Horrible? Good. All right.
Fantastic.
He's he uses the clout of being the Olympic national coach for a while. Oh yeah, you're a recruit. You like Kobe Bryant? I'm getting on the horn right now. Okay, sure. He earned his way onto that Olympic team. I have an agenda here that I'm trying to promote. It's once everyone else can start using clout, start using their brand, start legally paying players. Oh, allegedly. You got a lawyer in the room, so I'm good on that. Now it's like, oh, I'm out. Like, okay, coach. I don't know why I hate him.
He's very hateable.
He is very hateable, but
he's phony.
He's got the face.
He's very phony.
Well, yeah, the rat face doesn't help.
And you could have called this retirement tour from a mile away. Like, Roy Williams steps aside at the end of the year. Tom Izzo just said today that he wouldn't do a retirement tour.
Because he's a class act.
He is a class act, but I gotta say, like, he likes the attention too. Who are we kidding?
Well, yeah.
I'm actually surprised he's not doing a retirement tour. Coach K, please.
Coach K's doing the Queen wave.
Please. I'm shocked that he's not doing like a 3-year retire. Like, oh, I'm gonna retire in 2025. Like, oh, save me with
like
that.
wherever you stand on the paying players, not paying players thing is really irrelevant. But I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys remember. There was like a week, maybe even the same like day, but they released his MasterCard commercial, and he's like, holding up the I think it was MasterCard. But he was like, it was either that day or that week. It was within that same kind of bubble. He was talking about all the reasons why players shouldn't be paid, and like, even if that's your stance, which is fine. Like, I get there's arguments for both sides, but like maybe couch that for like. Once that commercial's on its third or fourth run, it was like the commercial debuts. I use MasterCard,
get out of here,
cha-ching. But these guys can't get paid. So it's like, if you're going to end up with this position of like, don't pay the players, like, okay, whatever. Maybe like put it off for a week. Like, let that commercial run a couple times. Well, wait till it's like on Friends reruns before.
Sure.
It's in prime time. Wait
for
TV
commercial airtime. Yeah, that's right.
The Coach K thing. I mean, for the record, I'm like a Spartan and Tar Heel, so I couldn't possibly have more contempt for Duke in that program. And when I got into UNC for business school, my brother gave me a gift. It was why Duke sucks, or all the reasons Duke sucks, or something like that, and it's on my shelf by the bar you guys filled up your cups at. So I mean, believe me, I hate him as much as anybody, but I'm curious because straight gin, No ice cubes. So here's the connection with Izzo, and this came out. This would have been up on the screen. This came out at least to us like a couple hours ago, and Ben, you should see the shit I gave him to prepare with like 10 hours notice as it is. But this was Tom Izzo today on the Tiki and Tyranny show, asked about, the Coach K and retirement and kind of where do you stand now? Like, what's your timeline looking at? And he says he's not going to get into specific timelines and it's not imminent, but he admits he's getting concerned about my profession. It's the meter. When the problem meter overrides the enjoyment meter, then it's time to go. Important to note that this is in the context of stuff that they were talking about with Coach K and transfer portal and name and likeness. So Izzo, even if he's not walking out the door now, seems to have the same issues that led Coach K to walk out the door. I don't know how that affects him, but when he says things like, it's all about that meter, and when the scales are tipped, that's when it's time to go, and I don't like what I'm seeing, to me, we're on the Steven Izzo 2 to 3 year timeline. That's kind of where I think that's reasonable. Is that fair?
I mean, I've heard when I was in college, I heard like 3 or 4 years then, and that was like 8 years ago. I
didn't believe that then. I believe it now, though.
I have a hard time seeing him want to hang it up, because wasn't it last year where he was like, "Oh, I'm enjoying it. Like I don't have like any timeline."
What
like
he like this year's group revitalized me.
Yeah,
or
something like
the Final
that.
Four team 2 years ago. It was one of those two teams.
Did this year's team bring him back down? Like
If this year's team revitalized him, we have some problems.
Right.
I mean,
he's a masochist at this point.
I think it was 2019 for the record.
I think he's so hell bent on getting number 2 that we might not see him really think about retiring until he gets like to that next Final Four and he's on the verge of like, maybe he makes the national title game and he loses. Maybe he's just like, all right, like I just can't do it.
All
like,
I could.
Yeah. So this past year, I might have retired after this past year. That was just a nightmare. But he's got a good class coming in. He potentially could have a good next year. There's a bunch of guys on the board. They'll probably have like a 5-person recruiting class. The Steven Izzo thing makes sense. Leave when your kid leaves. I get it.
How poetic,
Yeah, but like,
beautiful.
Is that really the one thing that's keeping him at Michigan State? I don't think so.
I don't think it's the one thing, but it would be a neat sort of exit point.
It ties it in.
Yeah, we could just have Steven Izzo on the staff as like a grad assistant, and then they go out together after they win a national championship.
Oh, before you go to another tab, please like, subscribe, and follow for more clips and highlights. Good? Okay.
See, beautiful. That's a natural at work.